Hello, my name is Marcus and welcome to Tabletop Reviews, but today I'm having a look at Reptile Tank, one of the many games I brought home from Essen, and the first one I'll be looking at from that Essen haul. So let's get it to the table, see how it's set up and played. Alright, Reptile Tank. That took a while. Getting these things to the side here. So it consists only of cards, basically. These are a little helping guide as to what all the different animals do. These are for a module you can play with extra goals. We've not played with it because honestly I think the challenge of putting these together is big enough on its own, so it doesn't need it. But you would basically shuffle these up and then each player would get 7 cards. And from these 7 cards you'll pick one to place down. And now it's just placed, right? Then you switch the hands around and you choose the next one to place down, and hopefully you would get something that's like, now I'm starting to form something, you know, as the hands are passing around. Do that once with 7 cards each, where you get all 7 cards. So, you know, the last cards, you choose one for yourself, one for your opponent. Then you do it again with 7 cards, going on the round. And then you would do it one more time, this time. Of course you would go, you know, to the right first time, then to the left, and then the last time also to the right. And then on the last one, when you will only choose 6 cards. So when you have 2 left, you'll choose one to keep and one to throw away. And of course you will end up with a grid that is 5 by 4 for 25 cards. This is what they suggest, right? 5 by 4. And that's how you play the game. Now the way that it scores is where it's difficult, right? It's just a whole bunch of different ways of scoring. And I just want, let me go over some of them here. So like turtles here, this one scores if they're next to each other with a bit of plantation or whatever. Can't remember the word. Besides it, this is for if it surrounds plantation. This is if it's just in the same column. For the cockroaches, if you have exactly 1, you'll get 2 points. But if you have the most, you'll get 12 points. But if you have 2, and that's not the most, you get 0 points. So it's a bit risk. This one is the same, except the turtle was up down. This one is left right next to each other and with plantation around. This one is called what is that? Diagonal, right? And this one is surrounded by plantations rather than surrounding plantation. Let me take snakes first. These have a specific right. These can only be placed here, here, or here in the darkened spots in the grid. That's the only place they can be placed, and then you score. And all of them you score either by having 2 or 3 plus. Water just scores by being together with other water. Water only scores for water, cockroach only scores for cockroaches. And you have the last bit of plantation, which is now, of course, this one wants to be diagonally to other plantation stuff. This one wants to be next to other animals. This one just wants to be on the same row. And this one also has specific placement. And this one wants to be surrounded by animals. So that is it's a very quick overview, and it's not an overly detailed overview. Because, I mean, the gameplay is simple. You just draft out 20 cards in total. But it's the way that they score, the way they work off each other. That's where the complication arises. You, of course, have this thing which wants you to do certain stuff with certain placements. Which is... it's more difficult, and I don't feel it's necessary. But, I mean, this is basically how I play it. Let's get back to the table. And there we go. I'm going to try and make this a shorter video because it is not a very complicated game. Draft 20 cards throughout the game, and you score them in these very different ways. Of course, the gameplay itself is, mechanically, it's very similar to, of course, 7 Wonders, or It's a Wonderful World, with 7 cards, taking 1 in return and passing them on. Surprisingly, this actually works quite well at 2 as well. Of course, you remove some cards, but when you're drafting, after you've chosen a card, you discard 1 and draw a new one, and then pass the pile on. So there's a more flow of all the cards that are in there, making it actually work pretty well at 2. But it also scales very well up to 6. Now that is, of course, player count, but let's just finish gameplay real quick. The gameplay, of course, is very simple. The drafting, I really love drafting. I really think it's my favorite mechanic. I really love drafting games. Really getting up there for me.
and then placing it out in this 4x5 grid, or 5x4, depending on how you want to count it, is such a wonderful way. And this thing of like, I've placed a card here, now this card can be anywhere on the grid. That depends on what I'm getting next up. But you have to keep an eye out for it. I have a friend, definitely, he put some snakes in, they were supposed to be in the middle, but he accidentally made them all the way to the side. He scored nothing for those cards. That's a bit of a mistake, and that's what happens if you don't think about it constantly. So it really is the scoring part that really makes this game pop for me, and not so much the gameplay part. Because the gameplay is simple and fantastic in that aspect, but it's really that scoring of all the entities, a different animal, where how do they work together. Maybe missing that the animals like water, because that's like water is just water and it's for itself, and scoring only for itself. So I kind of want it to be, you know, more can score from water. But other than that, it's amazing. Components wise, it has square cards, which I hate, but they work perfectly for the grid. If it was regular sized card, it would take way too much space. The artwork is wonderful. Some of the turtles can be quite difficult to see from one another on the artwork. But then you have a bunch of symbols that showcase exactly what kind of turtle is that I have here. So other than that, I don't think there's any complaint there. So does it lie to you? 1 to 6 players, 20 plus minutes, 8 and up. Now the 20 plus minutes, that's just stupid. That's, I mean, it's going to last you 20 to 40 minutes, I think. If you you know, well trained in it, you know how to play it, you can get it to about a half an hour, which I think is a very good amount for a game like this. It might take a little bit longer if you need to teach rules as well. 1 to 6, I say I don't play solo, but I think we played it at 6, played it 2, a little bit in between. It scales really, really well on this Essence here. I probably would prefer it in the middle of that player count, 3, 4 players, maybe 5, but around there. It just seems to be a better player count for it. So yeah, the final score I'm going to be giving Reptile Tank is going to be an 8 out of 10. A good high score. It's a really lovely little bit of game. I would love for some of the scoring mechanics to work a little bit better, like for example with the water and stuff. On that, I really love it, and it's definitely staying in my collection. So that was just a quick review of Reptile Tank. See you in the next one. Bye!